Yeah, I don't write it out or anything like that. I feel like that would limit creativity or make my flow kind of what's the word, kind of like stifled. Um, but I mean, I did that when I was like 14, maybe, but like, and I wouldn't encourage you to do it because you're already experienced, and I don't do it anymore. But the way that I do it, um, well, I mean, this is like the one slightly. It's not even trying to be arrogant, but it's gonna sound arrogant. Like now that there's me to watch, like I'm telling you guys a lot of the ways. Because like when I was doing, it, I just had to figure it out. But the way I do it is, I will listen to the song the first time I hear it, I'll try to notice if I notice any influences. So like Black Friday, those two tracks. Like as I'm listening, I'm also thinking like, okay, how is Kendrick or Cole, like what kind of style are they fucking with? Then when I listen to it again, I will I'll just listen to it a lot, probably it'll take me about 5 or 6 times. And then I'll begin to think that section is what I liked about it. And so then I'll re-listen to that section again and again. The other thing is like studying. You always want to be working within a certain level of like boundaries and rules, and understanding the boundaries and rules of not only the rapper but like songwriting. So, for example, um, like 16 bars, that, like, length of bars and stuff like that. And so when you're listening to song, you want to be thinking, how how are they using the 16 bars, like how are they playing in bounds, you know what I mean, if those are like, so that's one thing I do too, is like I think about length of the verse, length of the chorus, um, stuff like that. I also think about, this is big, the relationship between vocal delivery and flow. Is this rapper, and most rappers, some rappers do this, some don't. Is this rapper getting louder when they increase their flow, which a lot of people do, or is this rapper getting chiller when they increase their flow? So, for example, Eminem has a tendency to raise his voice when he starts getting faster, you know. But then Kendrick, on the other hand, when he gets faster, he does like that weird alien voice or whatever, the girl in the back, you know. Um, and then I also think about the lyrical content and the vocal tone. So like the vocal tone is one of the main like staples. And what is the relationship? Perfect example. Back shout out to all my boss bitches, wife and niggas. Like, you know what I mean? Right. Right. So you want to think about, like, when I'm studying, and that's a line I've studied a long time, so or since it came out, because it was like such a great moment. That's the only time he raises his voice in the whole song, or make sure you hit him with the prenup. Yeah, right. So that's the way I those that's the way I'd study. If you're studying back to back, like identify like key changes in vocal tone, key changes in flow, and then like I said, like just always be thinking about the kind of rules they're playing with. Is there a long chorus? Why are they like, ask yourself, like, why is this chorus so long? Why is he singing on this chorus instead of rapping? Why is he rapping on, like, touch the sky? Why does he not sing that chorus? What, how can I use that? Like, you want to ask yourself the tough questions that's the kind of study part of it. Um, I personally would not suggest doing that for several reasons. First reason being, most of these rappers, especially now with the influence of Jay Z and Wayne, most of these rappers aren't writing their own lyrics anymore. You know what I mean? Um, uh, yeah, like, in the case of Wayne, what he does is record a few bars and then stop, record a few bars. Now I wouldn't. Yeah, it's dope, but at the same time, whenever I think of that, or whenever I'm like, damn, Wayne can do that, I also think that Nas writes his lyrics, Eminem writes his, like, I always like to joke. I'm like, if you're ever feeling insecure because you don't write rhymes like Jay Z, just remember that Tupac wrote his own rhymes. Eminem writes his own. So, like, whichever team you're playing for, they still got good records. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Steelers or Cowboys, 5 rings versus 6 rings. Who gives a shit? You know. But, like, first of all, most of the rappers aren't writing it out. Second of all, most of the rappers aren't like blueprinting it. Like, they're writing pretty quickly, or they're like manipulating their voice to make it sound hot. Going back to the boss bitches. So like writing some kind of blueprint, it would just be a lot of extra time that could be better served. Like I said, studying the changes. If you want to write down a blueprint for yourself or look at the verse on like Rap Genius, like I would say look through it and make sure it's a song you know well for sure. But look through it and think like when does it start to get hype or when does it start to slow down? And this is the reason why. It's because music is an emotional thing. Like the reason shout out to all my boss bitches, wife and niggas is crazy is because of the mixture of like the lyrical meaning, the kind of Nicki thing, plus the way he delivers it, plus so. Um, does that kind of answer the question?